What's going on, folks? My name is Justin Freed, and I'm joined today by Los Angeles Rams safety Jason Taylor II. Jason, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well.
That's good to hear, man. Now, we'll get into your football career in a second. We've got a lot of questions to talk about that with the pre-draft process last year and your first year with the Rams. But I wanted to ask you first, because I feel like a lot of people that are unfamiliar with you or your career might look at your name and assume you're related to Pro Football Hall of Famer, Dolphins legend Jason Taylor. I'm sure you get that all the time. Obviously, that's not true, but how often do you get that? Has there been any like funny mix-ups regarding your name?
I get a couple every once in a while. I don't get them actually very often, but like I do get them sometimes. And actually, when I was in Florida, me being in the Miami area, that's I actually got somebody asked me that and really thought that and was like, oh my gosh, like he's such a great player and everything. But it was funny. But yeah, I don't actually get it that often, but I get it sometimes. But I always make sure to tell him that ain't me. But he is a great player. Was a great player.
For sure, yeah, definitely. Now let's get into your time at Oklahoma State. You get there, and now you didn't immediately step into a starting role at Oklahoma State. I feel like you kind of had to wait a couple of years to get that opportunity. It wasn't really until your fourth year on campus that you got a
Mhm.
starting job. Talk to me a little bit about that grind of staying ready and waiting for your opportunity, both as a part-time player on defense and as a core special teams player.
Uh, yeah, that was yeah. When I first came to OSU, it really wasn't the way it kind of it went weird. It went a little weird, but when I was able to get that time, my fourth year, I was able to actually kind of show. That was the first time I actually had got time actually out there consistently, and I was able to show that. I always had flashes, but that was the time that it kind of strung together, and it was good for me. But I think I learned a lot from my experiences. As far as that, most guys they come in and they're they start immediately, and but I had to compete, and there were some things that went on that like injury wise, and we just I just stuck to it, and I was able to once I was actually able to show what I could do, it was the best thing for me.
Definitely. And your team also found quite a bit of success that season as well. 2021 comes around, you're a starter for the first time. It's also the same year that Oklahoma State wins 12 games for only, I believe, only the second time in school history. You guys go on to beat Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl. What was that year like for you, both from an individual standpoint of your own success and from a team standpoint, from a team success standpoint?
Man, that was a great year. I think that we were kind of ready to have those years in the past. Like we were right on the hump, and that year we kind of strung it together. We Everything was clicking for us. Our defense was clicking really well with Coach Knowles, Coach Jim Knowles, who's I think he's at Ohio State now. Um, but everything was clicking for us. We had I think we I felt like we were loaded. We were loaded. We had so many guys on that team who kind of either had some kind of name or went and played. We had Malcolm Rodriguez, Devin Harper, Tyler Lacey, Kobe Harvell Pill, Trey Sterling, Christian Holmes. We had like Jarek Bernard, Tanner McAllister. We had so many guys like just that went on and played, and I think that we from the beginning we were together, so that's what kind of helped. And boom, that year it clicked. And for me, I was always with those guys, but when I finally got to start, and it would just went even better. We were rolling, and it went well. It was a great year.
For sure. And you were obviously a big part of that. You mentioned the roster was stacked, partially because you were there as well. And that's why going into the draft process, you ended up having a great senior season as well. You're a late invite to the Senior Bowl. I feel like it's around that time you started to get a bit more exposure. You ended up being selected by the Rams in the seventh round, which I think that was a little bit later than a lot of people expected you to go. Were you surprised about falling to that point? And also, were the Rams a surprise team for you, or was that a team that you talked with quite a bit in the pre-draft process?
Yeah, actually, I was surprised during the draft. I was didn't know what was going on. A couple teams calling me like, "Why are you falling?" Like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, y'all supposed to just draft me, you know. And the Rams were definitely a surprise team. I hadn't really talked to them much at all, I would say, during the pre-draft process. Besides um, the group leader, our group leader was with the Rams when I was at the combine. But other than that, I didn't really have any short visits, or I would say I didn't even have 30. I had 30 visits other places, but I didn't have a 30 visit there. I didn't have interviews or anything like that with them. So, but most people, everybody that I talked to, they said that's how it goes. The team that you don't talk to is the team that you're probably going to.
Yep. That is exactly how it goes all the time that, maybe it's a team doesn't want to tip their hand or whatever, but either way, you go to the Rams, having grown up in Oklahoma, attended college in Oklahoma, now all of a sudden you're moving out to Los Angeles. How difficult was that adjustment period for you, kind of living so far away from home in a completely new environment?
I would say it was difficult at first just because of you don't have school anymore, so it's different. And then if you have your practice, you have your time that you're at the facility, you put in your work. But once you're done with that, you don't have. I mean, you have your film, but you don't have your schoolwork or even your mom down the street or things like that. So it with it being LA, not just a different state, even closer, it was just like even more. And I just felt like, dang, I'm up here this far, but I adjusted well. I mean, I feel great out here. It's nice out here. The weather is always amazing. Um, the only problem I would say is taxes and traffic. That's it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I live in New York, so I understand that. I understand the taxes and traffic for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, so you end up getting to LA, very, very young team, huge rookie class, but also that means a lot of opportunities to carve out a role, which you do. You make your debut in week one, you play on special teams. And unfortunately, I believe that was the game that you suffered a groin injury. You end up missing, I think, about 2 months of the year, which that's a lot for anyone, but especially for somebody trying to find their footing in the NFL. So how difficult was that for you to deal with, and kind of what was your mindset throughout the rehab period and all that?
Yeah, so I was actually banged up a lot. Like in the preseason, I played in the first and missed the second two, and then I came back and played for that first game, and I wasn't where I needed to be. I was, basically hurt, and then leading into week two, I that's when I got hurt the 49ers week. I was like, dang, 49ers week. But um I feel like that was I learned a lot of lessons through that too. It was obviously tough, not really being injured that much in college or even at all, just in life. And I was injured at this point and where I was in my career, and then I was out for that amount of time, like 10 weeks or something like that or whatever. But I, was able to um, grind it out, get back where I could play and played in the final, I think like 6 or 7 games or something like that. And I played well. I got good feedback on those games, and I'm looking forward to this season coming up, where I can just be healthy all the way through.
Definitely. Yeah. And you mentioned you come back, I believe it was around week 12-ish, and you kind of had to reestablish your role on special teams. Almost feels a little bit reminiscent to your Oklahoma State career where you had to spend some time kind of proving your worth on special teams and waiting for that opportunity. Is this a situation where you're kind of approaching this the same way?
Um, I mean, yeah, I can't really approach it that way and think that it's gonna be exactly like the OSU, but that it was the experience, that exactly what it was. When I was at OSU, I was on special teams at first, and I was able to show through special teams, and that's how it got me on the field. The same way, I feel like that it potentially could go here. It's that's just how it is. I feel like I carved a little role out last year with my special teams, and I felt good in it, and I felt great, and I feel like I could excel in it and do things, but I also want to take steps forward as well too. So um, I'm looking forward to just like I said, first being healthy, and then carving out a role, whether that's whatever it may be. But I'm looking forward to be a dominant player, and we're gonna try to compete for a starting job.
Definitely. And you guys got some really promising young names in that room. And of course, there's a new face as well in the safety room. You guys signed and added Cam Curl, now a member of the Rams. What are your thoughts on Cam coming in, and have you spoken to him at all since he signed?
Yeah, said something on Instagram, but I actually knew him from high school. From Oklahoma. He's from Oklahoma. I don't know if he's originally from Oklahoma, but in high school he's in Oklahoma, and he played at uh, Muskogee. Yeah, Muskogee, and so we kind of knew of each other then back in high school, and then he went off to college. He was older than me, and went and played for the Commanders. So yeah, I kind of knew then, and we were familiar with each other. So when he came back, I thought that was cool. Yeah, I was, said something to him, and I haven't seen him just yet, but I'm sure the room will be cool, and especially being a person that I'm kind of familiar with.
Definitely, yeah. And you got a big 2024 season coming up, obviously. What are your goals and expectations for this upcoming season? Coming back from that injury last year, reestablishing that role in special teams. What are your goals this upcoming season?
My goals well, really, I'm gonna just go ahead and take this season, like it's my rookie season. I'm gonna just take it, and this a new year, and try to start from scratch, and I want to, eventually be um, a player that is, recognized in this league, so want to be a starter and uh, hopefully go win a chip. We think we have that type of team, and we're looking forward to this season.
Definitely. All right, last question for you. I always like asking this with anybody I'm talking to, anybody I'm interviewing. Who is, in your opinion, the funniest player in the Rams locker room?
I have to say, it's a couple of guys that's just funny. It's like the type of funny. Some guys are just funny without even trying. Some guys are the funny guy. So we have a bunch of different characters, but I would say like DK, Darion Kendrick, number one, funny, one of the funniest guys, real cool dude, solid. Trey Tomlinson, funny. It's a couple. We have so many guys that just like all together. Probably the combination is what makes everybody funny. But yeah, I enjoy this team and enjoy my teammates.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear it. Well, Jason, I really appreciate taking time, man. Definitely wishing you the best of luck this summer and next season. Definitely big things ahead for sure, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you.